Mallory, I don't know if you know this. There's football this weekend.
There is football.
There is. There are 44 games. Actually, there's 51 if you include the 7 private school state championships this week. So there are 51 Texas high school football games scattered across the state. And plus, it's college football championship week. A lot to get to. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you how you can spend your entire week on your couch watching football in what we like to call, Mallory, what do we call it?
Butt Groove Guide?
Good job. There you go. Yeah, it's a butt groove guide. We're going to work on your butt groove on the couch. There's pop quiz every once in a while.
Yeah.
We're going to work on your butt groove. You're going to spend all weekend on the couch watching football. There is no excuse to get up. So
there's 16 games on Texan Live, by the way. Yeah, so you're going to be sitting there for a while.
You're going to be busy. All right. Let's start tonight, Thursday.
Dateline.
You can actually go too wide. On the big screen, you're going to have Shiner or Furio. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's the game. That's the big game. There are 3 games tonight. There's Shiner or Furio, which we have live on TexanLive.com. There is Brock and Whitesboro, which I have not been able to find a stream for. If you know of one, let me know. And then there is one 6-man game, Motley County and Klondike. I believe our friends at Texas1AFan.com have the radio broadcast of that. So, but on your screen, on your big screen, on the biggest screen you got to have one of the biggest games of the year, which is Shiner. It's Refugio. It's number 1 Shiner versus number 2 Refugio, the reigning state champs against their chief challenger, their big rival. These 2 teams have played instant classics. These 2 teams have not been challenged all year long. I mean, these 2 teams have been just smoking fools. And so now they're going to go head-to-head. Fascinating matchup. This is one of those games, actually, I think this is a good way to put it. This is one of those games that if you have a friend who doesn't understand, like, what's the big deal about Texas high school football, go watch this game. Have them go to TexanLive.com and watch Shiner and Refugio, because this is 2 supremely talented programs, 2 supremely well-coached teams, 2 big-time fan bases, 2 teams that know each other well, 2 teams that are going to try to out-scheme each other. This will be great football. Just great if you're into good football. So I don't care where you are. Even if you know nothing about Shiner and Refugio, TexanLive.com tonight, Shiner and Refugio, there's that. On your second screen, there's another small football game going on tonight. Do you know what's going on?
Is it the... I actually don't know what's going on.
Cowboys play tonight.
Oh, okay. I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah,
that's
Cowboys
right.
And
that's
Saints
right.
Tonight.
Without Mike McCarthy.
So you can go second screen and do Cowboys and Saints, but the big screen must be dedicated to Shiner and Fury.
You got to put the Cowboys game on the smaller screen because it's going to probably not be the best game. This Shiner and Fury is going to be much better.
Here's my promise to you. Shiner and Fury will be a more enjoyable watch than Cowboys Saints. That's a stone cold promise.
It's a big promise.
Let's matriculate to Friday.
Dateline.
The last real big Friday night of the year. A bunch of games tonight, tomorrow night, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on Texan Live. So here's what we're doing. We're working under the assumption that you have 3 screens at your disposal, right? Big screen, computer, phone. So you can go 3 wide. Mm-hmm. Here's what we're going to do. By the way, you're supposed to go to YouTube. Okay, so here's the other issue we run into is that there is a college football game on Friday tomorrow night, 6 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. The Conference USA title game between UTSA and Western Kentucky. We'll get to that and talk a little bit more about that in our burning questions segment. But UTSA looking for their first ever conference championship. I mean, that's huge doings. That kicks off at 6. So the good news is you've got an hour to watch that. You can probably get into the middle of the second quarter before you have to open up 2 more screens. Okay. At 7 o'clock, we've got 6 games kicking off on Texan Live. Here's what I want you to do. On one of the screens, I want you to have Denton Ryan and College Station. Okay? Denton Ryan, College Station, number 1 versus number 2 in 5A Division 1. That is in my opinion, that's going to be a fantastic matchup. Two teams that I think are itching to get a piece of one another. Denton Ryan knocked out College Station last year. Denton Ryan offensively showed some life last week, but their defense was a little bit shaky. On the other side, for College Station, they have looked like the most well-rounded team in 5A Division I this year, but this is their biggest test. They've got to knock off the defending state champs. I think this game is absolutely fantastic. One of your screens needs to be dedicated to Denton Ryan and College Station. On the second screen, I'm going to go a little bit hipstery, and this is at 7. We'll get to 7:30 in a moment. On the second screen, I'm going to go a little bit hipstery, and I want you to watch Diboll and Lorena. Okay? So Lorena is a team I'm really high on. I've been high on them for a while. They took 2 early losses, and I think everybody forgot about them, but they have been cooking with Crisco lately. I mean, they have been fantastic. They went 0-2. They've rattled off 11 straight, and their offense has been on fire. Thanks in large part to their quarterback, Ryan Abel. They have an outstanding running back as well in Reed Michna. Their offense has been great. Their defense has been shutting teams down. This team is really good. They're going up against a bit of a surprise here in Diboll. At 10-3, they really turned head last week with a 37-34 win over Little River Academy. This is a team that does not play boring football games. They play high-scoring slugfests, really fun team to watch. I think the Lumberjacks and the Leopards are going to put on a show. Your third screen, I want you to have Lorena and Diboll. So then you matriculate to 7:30, and you're going to have to start making some tough choices. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? Because all the games are great. You're going to have to start making some tough choices. Because 7:30, there's a couple. We got 3 games. By the way, the other games we have on Texan Live: China Spring, West Orange Stark, Liberty Hill, Alamo Heights, Katy Pato, Fort Bend Hightower, Galena Park, North Shore, Tascasito. All kicking off at 7, all on TexanLive.com. Okie dokie. 7:30. 7:30, I'm going to work under the assumption that the UTSA game will still be worth keeping an eye on, and that at least one of the 7 o'clock kicks will still be worth keeping an eye on, okay? So that means I've only got one screen to work with. If you've only got one screen to work with, I want you to watch... Oh, God! I want you to watch Texas High and Crosby. That's what I want you to watch. I want you to watch Texas High and Crosby. I think this is the preeminent strength-on-strength matchup this week. You have this Texas High defense, which has been crushing, up against this high-flying, explosive Crosby attack. Texas High looking for a receipt after last year's disappointing loss to Crosby. Fascinated by this matchup. That's where I want you to go. The other 2 games kicking off at 7:30, Cuero and Geronimo Navarro. That's a rematch of a regular season matchup. The only non-district rematch we have. Where Navarro handed Cuero their only loss of the year, 29-27, and I believe this game's going to be as tight. It's going to be really good. The other game is Tyler Chapel Hill and Little Cypress Mauriceville. 2 kind of surprising teams in their own right. Chapel Hill finished 4th in their own district after scuffling in the middle of the season. Little Cypress Mauriceville was picked last in their own district, and they're both here in a regional final with a spot in the state semifinals on the line. You can go with any of those teams. We got 9 games tomorrow night on TexanLive.com.
That's a lot.
I know. Then you move to Saturday!
Dateline.
Just sip some coffee.
There's a lot of them. But they're all great.
We got 6 games Saturday.
You get to the point in the playoffs where, like,
we got 6. Oh, no.
Every game is
games.
just fantastic. So you can pretty much watch any of these games and be entertained.
Here's the good news. The good news is from the college front because it's championship week. Now, we do have 4 conference championships being decided this week. But we will, but the first one kicks off at 11. So at 11 o'clock, you can do Baylor Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And you can dedicate yourself to Baylor Oklahoma State, the Big 12 championship game kicking off at 11 o'clock. That should get you at least to halftime by the time you're going to need to turn on Texan Live. Because at 1 o'clock, Texan Live, you get Katy and Summer Creek. Now, I think Katy's a favorite in this game. But Summer Creek is playing hot. Sometimes you don't want to run into a good team or the best team. You want to run into you don't want to run into the hottest team. This is one of the hottest teams in the state in Summer Creek. Kenny Harrison's doing an unbelievable job there. Keep an eye on this game. That's 1 o'clock kick. Katy and Humble Summer Creek. 2 o'clock's when you're going to start to make some choices. Okay, you have to start to make some choices. Oh boy! So here's what you got at 2 o'clock on Texan Live. You got Lake Travis, San Antonio, Brennan. Okay, unbelievable matchup. 2 teams. San Antonio's the last 6A team standing for. Brennan's the last San Antonio team standing for San Antonio. and they've got Ashton DeBose, who's been fantastic. This is the best chance they have to knock off Lake Travis or Westlake in a long time, and I'm speaking for the city. Going up against this Lake Travis team that I think is starting to play their best football right now. Their defense, I think, is starting to round into form. Offense scuffled a little bit last week, but we'll see how they battle up against Brenham. Speaking of Austin, you also have Westlake and Vandegrift kicking off at 2 o'clock on TexanLive.com. Yeah. Westlake has been great, but this is an outstanding Vandegrift defense, I think, is going to challenge them. Huge game down there in the ATX. Also at 2 o'clock, Bridgeland and Tomball. Okay? Tomball, 4th place finisher in their district. They have turned on the Jets. Cale Helms has been one of the best players in the state in the playoffs. It's been unbelievable. Going up against Bridgeland, a big question is whether or not Connor Wigman is available. He went out in their regional semifinal win with, I believe, a concussion. We will see if he is available on Saturday at 2 o'clock against Tomball. That will tell the tale. But Tomball is really good and certainly capable of beating Bridgeland. And also at 2 o'clock, a little game between two Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex teams. Perhaps you've heard of them, Allen and South Lake Carroll.
Now, do you think that evens the playing field a little bit if Wigman doesn't play?
Yes.
For sure.
I think if Wigman doesn't play, I think Tomball wins.
Okay.
If Wigman does play, I think it is a coin flip.
Okay.
That's how important it is.
Right.
Allen South Lake Carroll is also at 2. 2 of the behemoths in 6A football, 2 of the behemoths in DFW, two high-profile coaches in Riley Dodge and Chad Morris. Allen is starting to play their best football right now, and that should be dangerous for Carroll, but Carroll has been mollywhopping teams, and I'm very interested to see what happens when these two go at it. How does Allen's defense, which did look good last week against Yule's Trinity, how do they deal with South Lake Carroll, who has such a multifaceted, multivariable attack? Allen South Lake Carroll's at 2 o'clock. I'm not going to tell you which one to pick. Those games are all unbelievable. Make the decision for yourself. And then, by the way, at 3 o'clock,
another banger.
Austin LBJ and Fredericksburg. It's a rematch of a district matchup. LBJ took down the Battling Billies in district play. Fredericksburg, I think, has improved significantly since then. I think they can give LBJ a challenge, but can anybody slow down Oscar Gordon and this outstanding LBJ offense? That's the real question here. And then, by the way, also at 3 o'clock, Houston and Cincinnati.
Big one.
They kick off. I believe that game is on ABC.
Yes.
In the American Athletic Conference Championship game. Obviously, a lot on the line for Cincinnati. I think there is a chance, I think a good chance, that if Houston wins, they're in a New Year's Six Bowl.
Really? You think? I mean, Houston's at like 18, I want to say right now.
If they beat,
you're jumping a ton at that point.
But who is the other G5 team that would be ahead of them?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
That's the issue.
I mean, UTSA's not in there anymore.
Right.
So.
And there's one other. I think there's one other G5 team, but I don't think they're going to be. I think Houston, with that win, would jump over them. I think they could be playing for New Year's Six Bowl. That's at 3. Also at 3, we'll talk about it in the burning questions. The SWAC championships on ESPN2. Prairie View A&M taking on Deion Sanders' Jackson State squad. Prairie View looking for their first SWAC title since 2009. Go Panthers. So that is how you can spend your entire. And then, by the way, there's NFL Sunday. And I guess there's other games like. Do you know there's a late night? Cal and USC are playing late night Saturday night.
Really?
Because there's a COVID postponement.
I was about to say, because the Pac-12 is Oregon and Utah, right?
Yeah,
Pac-12 championship.
that's going on too.
So I was like, what?
That game's at like 4:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
that's early for them.
Or whatever whenever it is. It's on at some time.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, there's also this weirdo regular season game between 2 4-7 teams, kicking off at like 11 o'clock on FS1.
So if you didn't know much about how this season's gone, you're like, oh yeah, Cal, Pac-12 championship, let's go. But no, you're
Cal
wrong.
and USC.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh wow, okay, interesting. I thought USC just hired a new guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's your Butt Groove guide. You got all day, and then you got Sunday. You can spend all day on the couch on Sunday for watching NFL. So there you go. There's your Butt Groove guide, how you can spend the entire weekend talking or watching football. Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.